Real-time news on the hour, every hour.
Good evening, good afternoon, good night, no matter where you are in the world. If you're trading, Crypto Banter is the show and the station for you. As usual tonight or today, we start with the headlines. Bitcoin breaks below key levels, but are we in trouble? We're going to look at the charts, we're going to look at the fundamentals and find out if there's more carnage to come in this downturn. And then, of course, the big news of the day, and that is that Massachusetts Mutual buys $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, $100 million is not a lot of money, but let's look at why this is such big news in the industry. And while all this has been going on, everyone hasn't been taking notice of the fact that Grayscale has bought another 100,000 Ethereum for their Grayscale trust. We look at why investors are jumping into Ethereum. Then we talk to Alex Michinski from Celsius after their chain link order to confirm they have over $3.5 billion under management. We also look at what the altcoin traders are buying today in the dip, and we have another segment on NFTs. So we have a big show for you today because Crypto Banter is the place that traders come to get live, real-time information. You're watching. I'm Crypto Man Ryan. You're watching CryptoBanter.com. We've got a jam-packed show. Let's get started.
Crypto Banter is the world's first interactive social cast for the crypto community. Get the latest news, views, interviews, and live conversations with crypto enthusiasts from around the world. This is where you call in, you make the show, and you bring the banter. That's CryptoBanter.com, where you talk crypto.
Yeah, that's CryptoBanter.com. It's the world's only live 24/7 streaming crypto station. This is where you make the show and you bring the banter. We got a jam-packed show for you today despite the market downturns. But first, if you are watching this on YouTube, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Now, let's get this information to more viewers. The more you hit the like button, the more you hit the subscribe button, the more traders hear about us and the amazing content on our show. And that means that we can bring you guys much more streaming data because we know that as traders, you need the information to make amazing trading decisions. And I guess, of course, the big news today is that Bitcoin breaks below certain key levels. But the big key level that we need to look out for if you're trading Bitcoin is the 17,600 level. That's more or less the 200-day moving average. And if we cross that, then I guess that there's a whole lot more to come. The big news of the day is, of course, that Massachusetts Mutual, an insurance company, not a listed insurance company, but an insurance company in the United States, has bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, you may be asking why a $100 million purchase of Bitcoin is such a big deal, and why, of course, it made the headlines in none other than the Wall Street Journal. The answer is very simple. This is the first time that an insurance company has gone public with their purchase of Bitcoin. In the United States, if an insurance company wants to buy Bitcoin, they've got to go through a lot of regulatory hurdles, and apparently they even have to report to the Fed that they're going to make such a move. And so I would imagine that if Mass Mutual did this and went through all the regulatory hurdles, they didn't do it to buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin, but they must have a much bigger purchase plan. I guess it's also the first time that an insurance company has made a statement that they believe in Bitcoin. Now, if you thought that institutional money was huge, wait until you see insurance money. Just as an example, Mass Mutual in the fund or the treasury that they bought this with has $235 billion under management. So despite this and despite all the good news that's happening, we look at the Bitcoin chart and it's not a pretty picture. We went down very close to the 200-day moving average, the 17,600, but then we bounced and it looks like we're at about $17,800 or $17,900. With me today on the line, I've got Michael van der Pop, and he is from the Netherlands. Michael, are we now getting to critical levels on Bitcoin?
We are, and we actually lost a few. But as you said, 17,600 is a critical level that we have to watch. But still, if we get a correction below that, that's going to be very healthy for the markets. I mean, it's giving opportunities, right?
So you think it's a healthy correction? I mean, are you saying that if we break down below 17,600, you're saying that's healthy?
Yeah, it's healthy when the market goes up, that it's also going to correct to the previous levels of resistance. That there's no market that actually goes up vertical and keeps going up vertical, except for the 2017 one, and then a bear market continued after.
Have you recently looked at the Tesla stock? Because if you look at Tesla does nothing but go up, right?
Yes, but in those upwards runs, previous levels get tested. They always have corrections and it bounces back up. That's the whole point.
Yeah, okay. So you're looking at the charts, right? I mean, you're getting your analysis from the chart. Maybe you should share the charts that you're looking at with us. Let's have a look at the charts. I guess that will put everything into perspective. While you are pulling up your charts, as usual, I'm going to tell you guys, the best community in the whole wide world, to bang that like button, bang that subscribe button. That brings us extra viewers. We need the viewers. We need the viewers to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button now, and that will bring us the viewers. So let's have a look at the charts. Michael, I'm going to share your screen.
Yeah. So I just put out a clean chart this time, as the last time I was on, we had all those messy charts, remember? So
yeah, I remember that.
So I decided to do a clean chart in which we can actually look at the lower time frames in which we have lost some critical levels. So if you give me a few minutes, then I can just go through it, and then the listeners will also have a slight view of what's happening right now. And I think you already mentioned it in the slide you've shown. What we did is losing 18.5. That has been critical, but more or less we've also seen that we are making those lower highs, which is actually signaling that every bounce from 18.5 was weaker. So buyers are not stepping in. We lost it, and then we went towards the next support zone, which is 17.6, that region actually, which is the final hurdle before we're going to test the daily block around 16K. So at this point, we are holding 17.6, but the critical part is that we have to break above this 18.5 region to actually become bullish again. Until then, we are bearish. And even if we break 18.5, we have to flip it to get towards the all-time high again. So at this point, we are just in bearish territory. It's just bearish support resistance flips and further downside normally to come.
Okay, but this doesn't look like a very pretty picture, right? I mean, it looks quite bleak. I mean, if I were to look at this graph as a buyer, I wouldn't be buying Bitcoin right now.
It depends on what your strategy is, right? If you're just an investor like those Mass Mutual and all those other ones are, they don't really care whether Bitcoin is 14K or 20K. They are buying for the long term as an investment. But if you're trading right now and you're looking for long trades on Bitcoin, these opportunities have gone through the past few months and they are gone right now. So you're looking for more confirmation before you're actually buying long positions at this point.
So to summarize what you're saying, if you are buying for the long term, you can buy now, or you can just keep buying. It doesn't really matter. But if you are buying for a short-term trade, this may not be the optimal time.
Well, the most difficult part of markets are timing them. So everybody is eyeing the 14K area to buy Bitcoin, but the chances that we're getting there are not 100%. So the best strategy the majority of the people should have is just to buy a little portion every month, irrelevant what the price is at that point. If you have been doing that in the past year, you would have been up a significant amount of money. So that's the best strategy the majority should be doing until we get to like 200K, 300K. If you're day trading Bitcoin, I think you should be waiting for more confirmation, as we're just in a downtrend on the lower time frames.
All right, it seems like I've fixed my sound issues. I'm looking at the YouTube comments. The guys were saying that my mic isn't working. My mic, I think, is fixed now. If you guys can't hear me, please let us know. All right, Michael, the big news of the day, I guess, was this Mass Mutual announcement that they bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin. To me, that is not only the big news of the day, but probably maybe even the biggest news this year, because it's the first time that I've heard an insurance company, a life assurance company come out and say that they've bought Bitcoin in their general investment bucket. What do you think of this news?
I think it's massive. If insurance funds are going to apply or allocate a certain position towards Bitcoin, that's saying a lot because it's an insurance fund and they should be risk averse like crazy. So when they are deciding to add Bitcoin to their insurance fund, that is just a massive switch that has been going on for a while already, stating that all those institutions are jumping into the market. So if they are doing it, there's way more of these parties to come, not only in the US, because everything is surrounded by the US at this point, also in Europe and different parts of the world. So the snowball is just rolling. And I think this is one of the biggest news that we've had in the previous weeks.
So
yeah,
let's take a step back and look at the structure of these insurance companies. These insurance companies have large, huge portfolios. I mean, this fund is a $235 billion bucket of money, and they've only invested $100 million into Bitcoin. In general, does the insurance company manage this themselves, or do they outsource the management of the portfolios to several other investment houses?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I know that there are differences between the US and the Netherlands regarding that. So, like, there are banks and insurance funds here, and they do it themselves. I don't know how it is in the US, so I can't really answer that question. Maybe you know it by yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, look, my understanding is that that insurance companies typically wouldn't manage their portfolios in-house, and they would take the 235 billion and they would allocate it around multiple fund managers or investment houses, and then the multiple investment houses would make investment decisions. I'm quite surprised because if I read this article, it kind of alludes to the fact that they did this investment themselves. It kind of like it says, we bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin. And if they did do that, it would have meant that they would have had to go through a lot of regulatory hurdles. And if they did go through all the regulatory hurdles, I can't imagine that they did this because in a $235 billion bucket or fund, they would want to buy only $100 million worth of Bitcoin. So I think
the main point is that they have decided to allocate a certain amount of money towards Bitcoin. And that it's just 100 million is not much. But 100 million can actually move the markets at this point. The volume is just nothing, and crypto in general is just nothing. So if these parties are jumping in and they are all allocating like 0.1% or 0.5% of their fund into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets, the whole market goes time 2x or 2x or 3x already. So that the shift is there, that's the main primary point at this point.
Yeah, I guess, we always hear the news that these institutions, MicroStrategy, and now we're hearing about this insurance company, Mass Mutual. We always hear the news that they bought Bitcoin. And of course, Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust is one of the biggest and is the biggest buyer of Bitcoin. But let's not forget Ethereum. Ethereum seems to, be in the shadows of Bitcoin. Grayscale reported that they bought another 100,000 Ethereum. Bitcoin or Ethereum, Michael?
Ethereum. I said it last time.
Yeah, Ethereum.
Yeah, I mean, Ethereum is a little bit in the shadow of Bitcoin at this point. Like 100K ETH is also a lot of money, but the whole spotlight is surrounded by Bitcoin and Michael Saylor doing some really crazy stuff with his company. And just even writing loans to buy Bitcoin. That's currently the spotlight. But that ETH is also taking such a big amount of money through Grayscale, maybe also through institutions we don't know yet. November is usually the month that institutions are buying positions or are reallocating. The next period is likely going to be February. But that ETH is taking that spot is a good sign for the markets. And that is maybe even bigger than Mass Mutual buying 100 million in Bitcoin.
Really? You think even bigger? So you're saying you think it's an even bigger news?
I think it's the same level, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. What about XRP? There's this big airdrop. I think it happens tomorrow on the 12th of December. The holders of XRP or XRP token holders are getting the Flare tokens. I looked at the FTX open positions for the shorts, and it looks like a lot of people are taking short positions or expecting the XRP price to really go down after the airdrop. Have you looked at that at all?
I saw it on the BINANCE futures platform earlier today, and I saw that the funding rate was minus 0.39%, which is ridiculous, which means that the majority of the markets are short at this point. So I would not be surprised if we get, just before the actual airdrop, we get one large, let's say, scam pump to squeeze all the shorts before it starts to correct. That's the likely occurrence. I actually saw it in 2017 with those events, is that you get a big rally upwards in the few weeks before, buy the rumor, and then the event goes by, sell the news, and then it just starts to drop back down again. That's just the standard approach in cryptocurrency. So in crypto, short term, so close towards the event, it's a little bit, freaky to say something about the price. I would not be surprised if we get one more pump. After that, I think it will be just a slow bleed towards maybe even 35 cents again for XRP.
So when do you have to have your XRP tokens to get the airdrop?
Well, I'm not an XRP holder. I don't care about this cryptocurrency at all. So I'm not really too much in it. It's literally, the army is so frustrating. If you tweet something about XRP, they always come at you. So no, man, I'm not.
It used to be a lot worse. There was Tiffany. I don't remember what her name was. XRP Tiffany or
Tiffany Hayden, right?
Tiffany Hayden. I haven't seen her stalking me for a while. I'm not sure if it's because I blocked her or because she's just no longer in the army. Maybe she's a retired general.
She's not longer in the XRP army. Actually, she follows me, and I saw a reply, and she, I guess, retired. And then she posted,
and joined the Link Marines, I guess, right?
Not a bad decision, man.
So let's talk about Link. I know that you're a Bitcoin man. I know that you're focused very much on Bitcoin and a little bit of, and of course, Ethereum. And so I'm taking you a little bit out of your comfort zone, getting you into XRP. What about Chainlink?
Chainlink is the old one of the group. I've got all the charts up here. So what you see in general on the majority of those altcoins is that they are getting into an uptrend. What I mean to say is that ETH broke an accumulation range and starts to look really good for a big 2021. XRP did make a pump, first time since a long time it makes a higher high. So it's going to be a heavy 2021 for XRP as well. Irrelevant if we get towards 35 cents. If we get there, I'll probably buy XRP myself. But it's going to be big for 2021. If you look at Link, it's just slow bleeding down at this point, which is not looking too well on the BTC pair, which means Link has seen this bullish breakout and a parabolic move. But if I had to choose an altcoin right now, I would not be going into Chainlink. I would be looking at other oracles at this point. Not to shill, but I would be looking at smaller ones.
Which other oracles would you be looking at?
Dia and Teller. TRB.
Dia?
And
Okay.
Dia, yes.
So
Those are small.
Let's look at their market cap. So I'm going to quickly just get the market cap up on the screen.
I think it's around 40 million.
What's the symbol?
Dia.
Dia. Okay, yeah. Dia we know about. And what was the second one?
TRB.
TRB.
Yes.
Okay, so Dia is on a $35 million market cap. TRB, which is Teller's come up on our show quite a bit. That market cap's about $36 million. You saying you would rather buy into these ones than buy into Chainlink at this point?
Yeah, if you're looking at certain niches or markets within markets, so you decide I want to have oracles, then you see the valuation of Chainlink and the chart at this point, which means that the upside is relatively limited. If you look at other oracles, and you can also look at Banter protocol, but it's got a similar chart as on Chainlink, and then you decide to look at Dia and TRB, which are 40 million, just 1% of Chainlink, I think the decision is quite easy to make. If you want to allocate towards those, then you take the ones that are undervalued compared to the other ones in the group.
But I mean, isn't there some kind of network effect like with Bitcoin and Ethereum where you want to kind of back the winner takes all environment as opposed to back, the smaller, more insignificant players?
Yeah, but it's Chainlink is already up there for a few years now, so it had its run. Dia and Teller are new listings, so the moment that Chainlink maybe runs from $10 to $14, and Dia or the focus is on oracles again, it's costing less money to move DIA and TRB, and they probably take the spotlight from Chainlink. So it's higher risk for sure. But if Link, like I've got a chart here, if you see a chart like this on a weekly time frame, I definitely are not interested in any position at all. It's just Tesla, but this is what Tesla will look like in a few years from now.
Yeah, we spoke about this last time. Would you have the guts to short Tesla at this point? I mean, it looks like it's very, very close to the top of the parabolic move.
It's so hard to time it, man. I'm going to look for some confirmations in general, but if I want to take a position in this one, I definitely want to short it. But it's the same with all those other tech companies. If you check Amazon, it is Bitcoin 2017.
Amazon. I mean, this may point to a correction in the NASDAQ. I mean, if you look at all of these are the big companies making up the NASDAQ. And there may be a correction in the NASDAQ. And if there is a correction in the NASDAQ, we can expect that a lot of that will flow into Bitcoin and into Ethereum and into all the entire ecosystem.
That's debatable. The whole point is if we are going to have the crisis that everybody calls right now, the question is, how is the dollar going to react? And if we go back in history, in 2000, this is actually the dot-com bubble. You don't see it anymore. But if that is going to happen similarly to 2000, the dollar is going to run up in the first period. So then probably everything crashes. And then afterwards, commodities and cryptocurrencies will do well. So the moment that we really start to crash like we did in March, probably the dollar is the place to be in and not Bitcoin and other assets. But after the first drops then you want to have Bitcoin and commodities.
So I'm glad you said Bitcoin and commodities and not Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because I think when that happens, we'll probably get a split between Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, where Bitcoin people will buy the asset, which is the gold-like store of value. And I think when they look at the rest of cryptocurrencies, those will be almost like VC-type plays or VC-type bets.
I think if Bitcoin is going to do well and ETH 2.0 or ETH is going to develop, it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if Bitcoin does well, ETH will follow. And then if ETH goes, then 90% of the markets will jump in. So that's the whole correlation part. But you have to watch how the dollar is going to react in general. I mean, if you check this chart, you probably know that there's going to be a top relatively soon. And the markets are going to reverse. And then it's the question how the dollar is going to react. And that's also the big variable, how Bitcoin is going to respond to it.
I must say, if I was holding big tech, to be honest, I have traded out of most of my big tech positions. But if I was holding big tech, I would looking at this chart, looking at the Tesla chart, I would be lightening my positions because I'm not sure how much more we can go. And especially because if we look at the US economy, we know the markets are completely removed from any semblance of reality on the ground. And somebody has to be buying all of this stuff. Somebody has to be buying from Amazon. Somebody has to be buying these Teslas today and in the next 2-3 years. Otherwise, these stocks aren't going to have value. So I'd be de-risking my position. I think staying on any longer is a function of greed.
Well, the funny part is I was with some friends earlier this week, and all of a sudden, 75% of them are trading stocks out of the blue in the past few months. So there's a few signals in the equity markets right now that are comparable to the ICO mania in 2017, that everybody all of a sudden starts to trade equity markets through Robinhood and are experts. And the second thing is that we've witnessed some IPOs during this week, and they got listed insanely above the IPO price. So I guess it was Airbnb earlier this week that got listed, or Alibaba, one of the two, and it ran 170% immediately, which is comparable to any ICO.
I think that was Airbnb. It was a long anticipated listing. I think they listed just in time. So for me, this would be like doing your ICO in December 2017 or February 2018. And I think that a lot of it is going to go south. Just a reminder to our viewers, this is a call-in show. We want to hear what you're doing in this market downturn. We want to know if you're buying, if you're selling. If you do want to call in, First of all, hit the like button, the subscribe button. But if you do want to call in, go to our website. That's www.cryptobanter.com. Hit the button there. You can call into the studio and you can absolutely remain anonymous. We don't want to know who you are if you feel uncomfortable. We want you guys on the show. We want us to tell us what you're doing. We do have one caller on the line. I've seen him there for a while. He calls himself Nervous Neil. Nervous Neil. Oh, Neil, I remember you've been on our show before. Nervous Neil.
I'm glad I actually got through today. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
I am very nervous, Ron. I've been dabbling around for a couple of years. Haven't really jumped in, and I decided to make a big play at 18.5. And I'm a little nervous. I saw the title of the show, and I'm wondering what to do. I need your help.
So.
Mine.
Just to be clear, what you're saying is that you have been in cryptocurrencies for a while, but you also bought a big position at $18,500.
That's right.
And how long are you?
And I'm wondering
how long are you planning on holding this position?
Well, I'm looking at sort of a mid play, so call it 3 to 4 months. I'm not looking just to trade it out immediately or quickly. But what I don't want to do is drop too much. And I don't know, I'm a bit nervous, as you can see. I don't know if I should pull out or if I should stick around. So at 3 or 4 months run, what do you reckon?
I'm going to toss that one to Michael before I give you my opinion. Michael, if you had bought in at 18,500, you're now at 17,800, would you take the loss? And your holding period was 4 months, would you take the loss or would you stay in?
First of all, I can't really give any financial advice at all, but is it a leverage position or is it a spot buy?
It's a spot buy. It's a spot buy.
It's a spot buy. Okay, then probably that's less risk. But if you're feeling nervous at all at this point and you're looking for the next 2 to 4 months, I just cut the trade and look for a new plan. I mean, if you've bought at 18.5 and the price is at 18,050 and you're already getting nervous, your position is way too large. So you've actually decided to go into this trade without a plan. Every time when you buy something, you should have a plan deployed on where you're going to execute the trade or take the loss and where you're going to look for position again. If you don't have a plan, don't trade. It's your own money. You're also being healthy for your body. You've only got one body. You've only got one portfolio. Yeah. Just don't take that high risk and without a plan because some avatar on social media is saying you to buy here because it's support. Always make a plan before you take it. So just cut it and then move on and make it make a new plan.
I'm taking that advice now. I'm clicking.
Neil, if you lose this money, if you lose the money in Bitcoin, if it goes to zero, what happens to you?
Right, if it goes to zero, I'll be in big trouble. I haven't leveraged the play, but I've leveraged the cash that I put into the play. So I think I am in at risk here on this one, and that's why I'm nervous. So I don't know. Do you agree with Michael?
So I would love to add something. I mean, I think it's partly FOMO why you have bought.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why you're buying here. So it's partly FOMO. But if you're currently feeling like you're losing money and you're getting nervous, you should be starting to evaluate what you did wrong in this trade if it goes south from here. So just evaluate what your trade was and why you did it. Because if the bull market is going to be there, your FOMO will only be increasing even more. So you will be tempted to buy cryptocurrencies that are skyrocket levels and they will never get back. With Bitcoin, you can still make a profit out of this one, but buying Chainlink on $18, for instance, you're still waiting to make a profit. So evaluate and start building your own thinking or psychology on trading, and then you will do well from here.
Neil, did you buy Chainlink or Bitcoin? What did you buy? You only bought Bitcoin.
I bought Bitcoin, but
I'm just give the example on it.
Yeah. So I think, Michael, I mean, having listened to you earlier, you mentioned, buy bit by bit every month. And that's obviously, that strategy resonated a lot with me. But in terms of coins, say I go halfway and I dump half of the Bitcoin. What the coins I've been looking at the moment are, also following the show, are Polkadot, Cardano, and Sushi is the ones that I want to climb in at. Is that a good idea to shift some of my Bitcoin over to those three?
I want Simon Dixon to answer that. I can see Simon. He's a long-time Bitcoin OG. He's a long-time crypto enthusiast. Simon, you heard that question. Neil, he calls himself Nervous Neil. He comes onto our show. He says he bought Bitcoin at 18,000. Bitcoin's dipped by $500 to or $600. Now he's talking about buying Sushi, Cardano, and
Polkadot.
Yeah. All right. Well, my advice is I don't think you should be trading. It doesn't sound like trading is I used to be a market maker on the London Stock Exchange, and my job as a market maker was to get people to FOMO into things, and then push prices around so that we could buy sell between. And the job of a market maker is to try and do that. But I'm an investor, so I have a slight bias, and that's because I've just seen too many people get wrecked over the last 15, 20 years since I'm involved in financial markets through trading. So to me, if you have a 3 to 4 month position, it's called a swing trade. And if you're swing trading, then you should have a goal for where you think it's going to go. If you're just buying Bitcoin at 18,500 and you're a long-term investor and you're not looking at executing or selling that trade within 3 to 4 months because it's not over leveraged, it's actually part of an investment portfolio, then I think you'll make good. But if you need to actually cash in that position, then just recognize what you're doing is you're gambling.
Neil, just before we go on, I have to play this. I want to err on the side of caution here, and just say, look, none of this is financial advice. You should do your own research. We're not here to give you financial advice. We want you to make money. I would say the following: if you are nervous about a $500 or $600 swing in Bitcoin, which is effectively a 3 or 4% swing in Bitcoin, first of all, I wouldn't touch altcoins, because you can get that in a matter of 3 minutes when you're dealing with altcoins. Even Polkadot, Cardano, as much as I like the project, if you think this is nerve-wracking, you ain't seen nothing yet. There's a good chance that Bitcoin will go down to 14,000. And then how are you going to feel? So I would completely avoid anything other than Bitcoin. And then if I were you, I would completely change my viewpoint here. Bitcoin is not a place to be buying for 3 or 4 months. You're buying Bitcoin for the next 10 years. You're buying Bitcoin as a hedge in your portfolio for the next 10 years, a hedge against dollar printing, a hedge against microinflation, which Simon's going to talk about in a couple of seconds. That's what I would do. And so what I would do is I would take off the big position and I'd leave a very small chunk of the big position. And then what I would do is every month, in fact, I do it every day, but I mean, that's a little bit obsessive, but every month, just keep buying Bitcoin with a very small percentage of your salary. Now, when I say a small percentage of your salary or a small percentage of your income, even the most ambitious people and the people that believe in Bitcoin the most, I don't recommend that you put more than 5 or 10% of your wealth in Bitcoin. I think that's a lot. There is a chance that, as much as we're all supportive of this ecosystem, there is a chance that it won't work out the way we anticipate. But for now, that's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be trading. If you're getting nervous of a 3% dip, I take it you're not trading off any charts. I take it you don't have a real stop loss. And that's a real way to lose and to lose a lot, to lose it really quickly.
What you're doing here is you're combining a investment analysis with a trading time frame. And so if you're trading smaller time frames, then you're just trading the emotion of fear and greed of other people, which is represented in charts. And so chart patterns are just simply the nerves that you're feeling right now is also experienced by lots of other people that have just entered the market. And therefore charts and patterns, which is what traders use for the shorter term, 3 to 4 months or day trades even. It's just a representation of the emotion of fear and greed that people will be experiencing. And when lots of people experience the same emotions, you get predictable patterns. But the game of a trader is that you take a stop loss and a loss when something doesn't happen the way that you want it to go, and you really pull out your trades when they go right through increasing stop loss strategies. And this is even then, you only need a strategy that would work 50% of the time. But what you've done is you've said, I'm buying because I believe in Bitcoin, which means I want to hold this for a long term, and by long term I mean several years. But you're trying to do it in the time frame of a trader, which means that you need to be looking at charts as opposed to fundamentals and buying into those positions. So then you talk about altcoins and these other things. What you're doing is you're taking something that you're trying to make money with in a 3 to 4 month time frame, and saying, well, I need to take that and double and triple and quadruple in the risk. Because at least with Bitcoin, if you buy into the long-term philosophy, you know that even if I get this wrong in several years, I believe that it's going to be worth more. But with these other things, it's literally you're gambling. That's what you're doing.
So, I mean, what I'm hearing from you guys actually is obviously my strategy is completely wrong, obviously, and it sounds like it's a little bit too short term in terms of the approach, and especially something like Bitcoin being digital gold. I should have a much longer view on Bitcoin itself specifically, and then obviously the altcoins seem to be even more up and down. So I should stay away from that if I've got a short term, or I don't have a trading type of strategy.
Neil, I wouldn't be trading. It doesn't sound like you're a trader. If you want to be a trader, then you got to take very short positions, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 24 hours, maybe 3-4 days, maybe a week. But 3 months is it's like you're in nowhere land. It's very rare that traders take specifically crypto, take a 3-month position. If you want to take a trading position, do it because you think there's a panic in the markets. Do it because you think that the markets are overvalued and then sell short. But to buy a trading position for 3 months, you're in nowhere land. You're not an investor and you're not a trader. And you say that. I'm going to let Michael, I'm going to let you go because we're going to speak to Simon next. And we do have like 3 or 4 other callers on the line. And I'm assuming that they want to talk about something very similar to this. Michael, thank you for coming on to Crypto Trader. Crypto Banter. We look forward to it. Thank you. Great.
Have a great weekend, all.
We'll chat to you soon. Bill, I'm going to bring you on. Bill, you're live on Crypto Banter. Yeah, Bill, that's you. You're live on Crypto Banter. I see Bill. I think Bill sees us, but we don't hear him. Bill, can you see us? If you can, we'll bring you back in a second. Shubham, you're also live on Crypto Banter. Shubham. I see all these guys, but they're not coming on. Let's try Bill again. Bill, can you hear us? Can you see us? Oh, we got. Let's see. Shubham, can you see us? Can you hear us?
Yes.
So you're live on Crypto Banter. What can we do for you?
Sir, I want to know about the ZRX token.
The which token?
ZRX.
I don't know much about that token. Simon, do you know anything about that token?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Sorry, Shubham, we don't know anything about that token. But if you go to our Telegram group, drop the link there and our producers will have a look and maybe we can get someone on the show for you. Bill, we're going to come back to you. Can you hear us, Bill? Okay, we can't, unfortunately. It looks like Bill can't hear us. ASR, you're live on Crypto Banter. ASR just dropped the call. All right, Neil, we're going to let you go. I hope we've given you what you need. A lot of the comments are saying, we've been there. Don't worry, you'll be fine. I guess you will be fine. But if you do feel stressed, let go of that position. Let it go. Come back when you've got come back, buy Bitcoin responsibly every month. Maybe learn to trade, and maybe go look at Simon Dixon's new project, which is Retirement Plan B, which we'll be talking about now. We have spoken about it before, but I think Simon wants to give us a quick project update.
Fantastic. I'll stick around. Thanks for the out, and I'm taking it slow. Thanks, guys.
Take it slow, man. Take it. We've all been there, man. We've all been there. Wow, man, the lines are going crazy. I'm going to add on Tango 74. Tango 74, if you can hear us, you're live on Crypto Banter. Tango 74, you're live on Crypto Banter. I wonder if we've got technical issues with these lines. Tango 74. Hey, how you doing?
Hi. Yeah, I was to ask you for the coin Bondly. You know?
Bobby. No,
Bondly.
never heard.
It's
Bob-
new one. It's
Bondly.
Bondly. Yeah.
Yes, we had the guys from Bondly on, or we're going to get guys from Bondly on the show. There has been a lot of hype around that coin. I don't know enough about it to tell you whether I'd be buying it or I'd be selling it. But I can tell you there's been a whole lot of hype on around that coin, and we are going to get the guys from Bondly on our show.
Okay, thank you very much.
Cool. All right, Sam, you wanted to give us a project about retirement plan B, and for those viewers who and listeners who don't know what retirement plan B is all about, Simon Dixon is a long-time investor in Bitcoin. In fact, I think one of the first OG investors in Bitcoin. He started a business or a platform called Bank to the Future. Bank to the Future was a platform which allowed investors like you and I to invest in the top grade projects in the space. If I remember correctly, Simon, you guys have made over $100 million worth of investments, right?
Almost, we're approaching 900 million now. So we're trying to go, yeah.
$900 million worth of investments. I mean, that is huge. So Bank to the Future is still going, right?
Yeah, so we're an online investment platform. We facilitated funding rounds in 125 different companies. And we have a market for buying the equity in companies like Kraken, Bitfinex, and Ripple Labs, and various other companies in the industry. So yeah, we're still going, and we're going strong.
So we are getting a lot of comments. One of the comments is, how do we call in? That's Jonathan Morgan. Jonathan, go to www.cryptobanter.com. There's a button there. Hit the button and you can call in and you can remain anonymous, or you can join us and you can show us who you are and we'll bring you live on air. All right, Sam, retirement plan B. Tell us again, for those viewers and listeners who weren't here last time, what is retirement plan B? Why was it created and how can we get involved?
Yeah, well, it's when I hear the stories of people like Nervous Neil. Sorry if I got that wrong, but you know, it's I see so many people trying to enter this market just simply because when you have an asset class like Bitcoin that's been the highest performing for 10 of the last 12 years, we've seen people having been involved in that industry from the very beginning. I've seen people that were there from the beginning. And even though being involved in this industry, thanks to things like over trading, not doing correct tax planning, they really have ended up in a position where they're not as financially wealthy as they actually could have been. At the same time, you've got lots and lots of people FOMOing in for very different reasons. And our industry is just so complicated that you see people make a lot of mistakes. So when this pandemic started coming along, someone asked me, what would I do today if I were starting from scratch? And that was really the genesis of Retirement Plan B. So we've just released a 4 3-part video series where I go through exactly what I would be doing if I were starting from scratch. The first one is making the case for why we're in the Great Depression of the 2020s, how to actually combine Bitcoin with a traditional portfolio and the wider crypto market so that you can actually define how you think about it and how you would build a retirement plan around it. The second video is talking about the lessons and mistakes of the wealthiest investors in the world, from the Bitcoin figures to the traditional Ray Dalios and Paul Tudor Jones and Warren Buffetts of this world. The third video is the approach and the strategy and the exact makeup of what I would be doing if I was starting from scratch. And finally, the things that do make a difference that people don't consider as they're accumulating is how you would actually do the tax structuring and the legal structuring and the inheritance side of that. So it's a free video series that we've released. I think you'll share a link if anyone wants to get that. And then we'll be working with a group of people that actually want to implement this and just learn from having worked with 100,000 investors over the years through Bank to the Future to make sure that people understand things like what Nervous Neil was asking, timeframes, some of the things that you were talking about, dollar cost averaging and actually structuring it in a way where it can be passed on and all sorts of stuff. So, and really making it relevant to today's market, which is, how it fits in with stock markets, gold, and how you position Bitcoin and really learn from traditional money managers.
Sam, I watched some of the videos, and one of the things that stuck out for me in the videos was that you spoke about the fact that you've been for many years anticipating or preparing for this environment of hyperinflation and governments printing so much money. How is it that so long ago you realized that this was a problem? Is this not something that's new? Is this not a new phenomena?
So this has really been the accumulation of 20 years work. So I started as academically mastering in economics, and I was very dissatisfied with the models that economists are actually using to model our economy, and really the assumptions around money. And so that really started off a bit of an obsession for me. I went into corporate and I started working as market maker, investment banking and trader. And then during the 2000s, I also experienced my father, who came from very humble beginnings, and actually, made himself a self-made millionaire and then lost everything in the dot-com boom and bust. And so these different experiences led me to Bitcoin and speaking at the first Bitcoin conference and writing the first published book to include Bitcoin, and started investing in this industry. But really, the premise was the same reason why Bitcoin was actually created, was that we enter into these ebbs and flows of debt cycles, and no fiat currency has ever survived. And so I do believe that today, I uploaded a video in 2011 called The Great Depression of the 2020s, and it was talking about the long-term economic trends and assumptions that central bankers and government and policymakers are using, that would lead to a black swan event. And we experience these every 10 years. I didn't really know it would be a pandemic. I thought it would be more of a student loan crisis or some other type of financial product crisis. But you can track these cycles, and I do believe that we're at the end of a debt cycle that leads to a ginormous renegotiation, similar to what we saw in 1944 Bretton Woods style. So it was just tracking longer economic trends and being involved in the industry and the growth of Bitcoin as well.
Alrighty, and if our viewers want to know more about Retirement Plan B, we are going to drop a link in our YouTube channel with a referral link. Where do they go? What's the web address? Where do they go? And again, for our viewers, we'll drop a link in the YouTube channel so that you guys can get some kind of Simon, what is the offer to viewers of Crypto Banter?
Yeah, I mean, just click the link that's going to be dropped into this, and it will take you to the website where you can get those free 4-part video series for free. We wanted to create the highest value content that we could. The comments, there's been hundreds of comments from people that are going to use those free videos to actually navigate the current environment. So check those out. And then if you're in a position where you actually want to build a retirement plan around that, then at the end of the video series, I'll be giving you a free copy of my book that was the first published book to include Bitcoin, and also inviting you to actually build a retirement plan during this Great Depression of 2020s.
Coach K, I know your retirement plan has a lot of altcoins in it, right?
Yeah, some. I mean, there's definitely Bitcoin and Ethereum packed away for sure. And that keeps getting put and packed away as with the long-term vision of I'm not probably going to spend this. I'm not going to use this for a very long time. Then, keep my trading stack, and then I keep some longer term holds, some midterm holds. And you got to keep a balanced portfolio. So I'm not just obviously in crypto, for example, got some metals, got some property, so the stock market, I don't think is a great time to buy right now, to be honest. Even though it keeps going up, I'm kind of weary that that's going to eventually crash at some point because it's just all-time high after all-time high. So I'm being a little bit weary of that. But if you're going to get tech stocks, focusing on, the Apples and the FANG stocks, and, the Elon Musk stocks and stuff like that, that's are very innovative. So, and then obviously tech and in the shorter term, health stocks, things that are going to be dealing with the COVID crisis, those have obviously a lot of interest now as well.
I must say, I'm strongly considering buying out of the money or selling out of the money call options on Tesla, because I think what's going on, Tesla, Amazon, I mean, to me, just looks absolutely ridiculous. Sam, I'm going to let you go because we want to talk to Coach K and see what alts he's buying in this dip. He's had a great run. We want to see if we can carry on. Simon, thank you very much. For those people who want the videos, we will post a link. All right, Coach K, a little pullback on the markets, a little pullback for Bitcoin, a big pullback for a lot of other tokens. What are you looking at, man?
All right. So, I mean, I'm just going to start with Bitcoin because that's the easiest one to start with and kind of show you what I expected, what I was talking about the last time we were on the show. I said, hey, we're looking at this candle to close as a hammer. We were down here. I said, if we close as a hammer, I won't be so surprised. We did. We came down again. We've been flirting kind of with filling this gap. We haven't filled it yet. But we have the strength, and where the strength comes, if you're watching candlesticks, right? Let me just zoom in here. You see there's a lot of strength when they're getting pushed down, and then people are buying them back up and they're closing higher. So even though I see like a potential 3 inside down here, or just a bearish engulfing on a really small and bearish engulfing candlestick, I do see that there's people that are pushing the price down, that are scaring people out of the market, and then bringing them and the price back up. So I'm not really too concerned, and it wouldn't surprise me if we fill this gap, go into the $17,000 range, and then we just kind of pop out and to this last part of the move that I still think is very valid, that could potentially happens still. Even though it doesn't look great, we do have a lot of bullish signs. We're above the cloud. We have a bullish Chiku spin. I mean, the Tenkin's nicely above the Kijin. So we have good signs, but it wouldn't surprise me as well that we would come down to this level around 15.5 to retest this Kijin, or if it came up to this level around 16, this would not surprise me at all, and it wouldn't make me super bearish either. But I would like for us to stay above this level right here at 16.2, which some other traders have been talking about it as well. I don't like as well for Bitcoin that we're below this 21-day EMA, so I would hope that we would close above it again today. And so far, if you've been watching the daily chart, I saw this go all the way down to within $5 of my short, getting tapped on a take profit, and then I watched it go all the way back up in the last few hours. So we're at 18.1 almost, and we were at 17.5 almost, just almost around my take profit at 17.57. So we're seeing a lot of good movement down to scare people. I think this is kind of setting us up for a move to the upside, more so than people would disagree with me. But remember, I'm still aiming, like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm still aiming for us to come down to this level and retest it again. So if you're someone who hasn't ever taken profit and you're in profit, it wouldn't be a bad idea to set stops in profit at very least, or a trailing stop above this level right down here, or even just take some profit now and then leave your positions open. So that would be what I would do if I had a position open right now, if you're watching. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. In terms of Ethereum,
it looks like you're talking about, I mean, you don't paint a very bullish picture there now. I mean, I feel like we're very much in a bull market. The news is all good. The movement's all in the right direction. The hype is all good all around us. But yeah, ever since this little downturn, all the chartists have been calling us down, and I've heard levels of 17,600. I've heard levels of 16,200. Now you say all the way down to 12,700, 12,200.
Yeah, I think we're gonna come and retest it, and it might be this is in January or February. I think we're gonna have another one of those moves to the downside. We haven't actually. This is a fact that Bob Lucas said. We've never had this long of a period of time in Bitcoin's history where we didn't have a 30% correction, and even this would not be a 30% correction. This would only be, actually, it would be a 30%, never mind. But that would be a very good spot to come back to. I've said on the show before, it's kind of come back to this level.
Looks scary. That looks scary as hell, and especially for new players in the market. You saw nervous Neil came on the show a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he invested a 3% price move. Now you're talking about a 30% price move.
And it's not going to happen in one day. It's not going to be like March again, where it just dumps unless some crazy black swan event happens. But it's something to prepare for, because the thing is, when we're bullish, everyone gets too bullish. Everyone gets overly, everything's going to the moon, and they forget that Bitcoin has corrections, and that's okay, and that we'll retest and come and we'll go higher. So, I mean, if we did come down to this level at 12.3, and then we got up to $35,000, would you be sad? Probably not. And honestly, if you really scroll out, that would be a normal move. I mean, we came up, come down a little bit. Okay, we come up. Now we finally have a nice correction and we go higher. And if you really want to see that narrative to 80K to 100K, that would fit nicely with us going higher. But you have to understand that that's what markets do. You can't just have people buy and buy and buy and buy and buy. There's eventually going to be a point where we're so exhausted of buying, and the greed in the market is so high that it's going to come back down. And so you have to keep yourself even keel. If you're not going to do that, you're going to get wrecked. It's going to happen. And if you're new in this space, don't think that you're smart because you got in down here and you've rode this for the first time ever, because that's how you get wrecked. So make sure you use risk management. And if you're in profit, take profit. Please take profit. Okay. Don't be the person who just sits there and gets wrecked. Take some profit, keep it out. If the market dumps down to 12.3, well, guess what? Now you can buy more Bitcoin or whatever other coins, because they're all going to go down with Bitcoin. So yeah, I think Bitcoin, it doesn't look horrible, but expect a correction at some point. It may not happen right away. I think we could even go to up to 25, 30K potentially before we dump, but it's going to happen. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of callers all of a sudden, a lot of callers and a lot of comments. I see a caller. His name is Anonymous. Anonymous, I guess you want to remain anonymous. You're live on Banter.com. What do you want to ask Coach K or myself? Anonymous, we see you. We can't hear you. Let me try and unmute your mic. Anonymous. All right, Anonymous. I think we may be having technical difficulties because I've got a whole lot of these calls in the waiting room. All right, Coach K. In this downturn, what else are you looking to buy? Are you looking to pick up any bargains, anything cheap? Do you have targets? I must say, I had my eyes today on Ocean Protocol.
Ocean's been pretty like it's been pretty. I can throw this up, but I want to talk about ETH for just a quick second. Okay. I think ETH has come into my zone twice now. It's gone to this liquidity pocket. I do have this level right here at $529. Look at ETH to potentially get in around that price. And the why I'm saying that is if we can close above this level and we can start moving back up, we're going back to $620. We are bullish overall on the market structure on ETH, even though it doesn't feel like it. We still are. So keep your eyes on Ethereum, because if Bitcoin starts to keep moving, if Bitcoin keeps moving, you're going to see Ethereum go right behind it like it did in every other move so far. The other one that I talked about the other day that I said to you, I think it was yesterday, the day before. I said, what did I say? When my alert goes off, I'm going to instantly buy it. So what did I do today? The alert went off. I instantly bought. I bought at 73. I bought 72. Now we're at 74. It's it's coming hammered off this level. I do like Aave right now. I'm in it. So I'm in it to win it right now. And I'm not like in a crazy profit yet, but I do like the second I bought it, it went to $80 almost right away within like 5 minutes. Everyone was like, holy crap, how'd that happen? I was like, I don't know. It just bounced really hard. It came back down, went really far, almost stopped me out, and then came back up. So I'm just waiting and seeing how that plays out.
Okay, I want you to look at another chart for me. And that's because the minute that I said it, everybody in the chat went crazy. Ocean Protocol. Would you be taking a position in Ocean? I was looking at it. I said, if it goes anywhere near 30 cents, I'm buying.
Yeah, I'd like to see it come down to 32. I mean, this is on Binance. Let me pull up the Ocean chart for KuCoin.
And the next coin that I want you to chart is Celsius. Celsius is one of my favorite coins. Our next guest on the show, Alex Michinski. Alex Michinski, good friend, a serious operator in the space. He's a visionary. He's done this. I think this is his fourth or fifth time that he's built a unicorn. And we're going to be talking to him today, and we're going to be giving our guests the chance to actually speak to Alex live if they want to ask him anything. He's a fascinating guy. So let's look at
Alex is awesome. I'm in a couple groups with Alex. He's a great guy. Here's the thing. We got this head and shoulders that came. I would like to see it come to this level right here. This 32 cent level would be a very nice, strong, confluent level that it's come down to several times in the past. Look for 32 cents to get into Ocean. If it goes lower, even better. You'd be looking around 30 cents as well, like Rand said. But I think this will be the area that we're going to see it come down to. And I mean, YFI, I called the head and shoulders. YFI Oxlow, guys, if you're looking for a potential move up and then down, this one's a really interesting chart that I found today. Someone in my group pointed it out. He said, hey, you're seeing this, coach. And I said, well, there's so many things I'm seeing on this chart here. I'm seeing a potential on a macro level, a head and shoulders, on an inverted head and shoulders to go higher. But I said, if this comes down to this level and comes back up, I called this one immaculately. Like I said, hey, this is a perfect head and shoulders. We have this left shoulder, this head, we've come down. If we come back up, you'd be looking to enter a short around 27.5, 27.8, 28. And that would be looking at targeting all the way down to 12,000 again. If we break above this level and start to break out, this could validate a inverted head and shoulders. And if we break out, well, we're in discovery all over again. We're looking at 44,000 and above. So those are the two options. Keep those levels on your eye. If we break above those levels and smash them, then you can keep your eyes out for us to break and go towards that 44. If we come up and reject, we're going down.
Alrighty, I've got a call on the line. Jay,
above this level to break out, this could validate inverted head and shoulders, and we break out, well, we're in discovery all over again. We're looking at 40. I can hear myself. So those are the two.
Jay, I want to bring you into the show. If you can hear us, just if you could mute yourself, and we're going to bring you back. Jay, can you hear us? You're live on CryptoBanter.com. Jay, Alicia.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I have a really bad connection.
No problem. You're live with Coach K
and
with
back. I'm sorry.
Okay, you'll call us back.
Call back.
All right. I want you to pull up the Celsius chart.
Celsius.
Because, yes, and I'll tell you why. Because this is a token that actually only goes up. It just goes
pretty
up.
much. And do you know why it only goes up?
I do know why it only goes up, because their deposits.
Do you know another coin that's doing something very similar?
No,
and it's not Nexo. I'm advising, well, not like officially, but I've been working with a team, kind of giving them a hand, called Yield App. They're doing something very similar, but they're using yield farming. They're kind of working like a fund, and they're actually going to share the yield with you. So if they guarantee the same thing as Celsius, but if they get, let's say, 50% in the year, you don't just get your 10%, you're going to get an extra 20%. So they're doing it in a really innovative way. And the people behind it were founded Paxful and WireX, and it's a really interesting one. And I love what Alex has done. This is great for the space. It gives me a chance to make money from my Bitcoin. So of course it's going to go up. And then if you hold Celsius, you get more. So why would you sell it? So when people see that and they enter, all they do is they keep buying it and holding it because they get more from holding it than they do if they don't. So that's a true one. This is a true example of a project which has utility, which gives you have no reason to sell it. Why would you? It makes no sense.
In fact, if you look at the tokenomics, what they're saying to you is the more money you deposit on Celsius, the more incentivized you are to hold Celsius tokens. If you hold the Celsius tokens, you get a much higher return. And if you get a higher return, you get more Celsius tokens. So, I mean, I must say, I am a bag holder of Celsius. It's been one of the amazing projects. Alex.
80x. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Alex, I think it's been 6,000% returns this year for Celsius holders.
Yeah, for those who held, hodled, right? We're all about hodling. So if you hodled your Bitcoin, if you hodled your ETH, and then you earned on top of it and sell, your yield was not 7 or 10 or 15%. It was more like over 100%, just the yield on the interest, because Cell token went up 5,000-6,000%, depending where you entered the year.
Wow. Yeah. All right, Coach K, we're going to let you go because our next segment.
Thanks for having me again.
Coach, we are going to get you back next week. We want to know what the altcoin bags are. Every time I feel like breaking up with you and getting another chartist on the YouTube comment, and they keep asking.
Keep your eyes as well on KSM, guys. It has a really nice keep and bounce play as well. So just so if you guys haven't watched, do that.
Before we bring on Alex, take us through that bounce. Alex, give us 1 second. We want to go through this one more chart, and then we're all yours. There's a lot to talk about to Celsius.
So it's a textbook. It's a textbook, a daily Kijun bounce. All right. So here we have a bullish Kumo twist. We have a bullish Shiku span. We're above the cloud. We have a TK cross that happened in the past. So we have all the signs. This is check mark number 1, check mark number 2, check mark number 3. We're broken out and we come in and came down to this level, which we're bouncing off of it. Check mark number 4. This is a Kijun bounce trade. It is a perfect opportunity. And even though this has gone up from $1 all the way back in March, and it's now at 45. Remember, parachains are coming to KSM, and these guys were supposed to be the testnet of DOT, but now, and Polkadot is what I'm talking about. They were supposed to be that, and now they're going to be even more. So watch for that. And then the question you'll have for me next is, well, then where are we going to look at, going towards? So I would say that my levels I'd be looking at right here would be around $71 at the 618 up here. So your first stop would be, at just at the top right here to revisit, which would be around 65. And then I think we're going towards 71.50. So those are the levels to be watching for. And your stop loss, which is really easy, is just a little bit below this red line, which is the Kijinsen. So you'd be around 42. So your risk to reward on that type of a trade is extremely good because you're entering right around here.
20 to 1 is it? I guess it's 20 to 1.
Okay, Coach, this would be about a 8 to 10 to 1 if you're doing it properly and you enter at the right point. You're looking at a 10 to 1 R ratio, and if you go all the way to the 618, you're looking at a 13 R trade. This is an immensely good trade to get into if you are looking, and obviously watch Bitcoin. If it dumps really hard, you don't want to stay in. But even the risk to reward, you're losing, 4.5% versus making 59. Take that trade. That's a good one.
All righty, Coach K. It's been an absolute
thanks for having me, man.
We're going to have you on again and again and again because, like I said, every time we want to get somebody else on, everybody comes back and says, we want Coach K. Next up on the show, we've got a very special guest for you guys. He's Alex Michinski. He's the founder of the Celsius Network. And they just announced they're partnered with Chainalysis, and they confirmed they got $3.3 billion in assets. Now, that is a super impressive number, not because it's a huge number, because it is a huge number. But it's an impressive number because the growth of this business, if I remember correctly, when Alex and I spoke earlier this year, they had about $1 billion under management. And it looks like now there's $3.3 billion under management. Alex, the growth has been phenomenal.
Yeah, the funny thing is that every time we announce a number, a few months later, we announce double the number. So everybody's like, this is impossible. How can it happen? So we've been working with Chainalysis now for 2 years. To make sure that companies like ours can be audited in real time versus what you get on Wall Street, where you get an audit a year after everything already happens. So if the bad things happen, it's too late. And we want to make that a standard for everybody, because I think to save or to make it safe for millions and hundreds of millions of people who are going to come into DeFi, we have to have full transparency. So we're leading the chart on that. And I'm very excited to partner with Chainalysis on this.
Alrighty. So when we talk about the fact that you got $3.31 billion in assets, and I think when we last spoke, you had like $1 billion in management or something like that. How much of the 3.3 million or the increase is because the Bitcoin price went up and you're simply holding the same Bitcoin and the Bitcoin price has doubled or tripled? And how much of that is actual new deposits that have come into the platform from new users?
Yeah, so all of our numbers are public. You can just download the Celsius app. You go into the community page, and you can see every day how many users, how much in deposits, how much in Bitcoin, and so on. So about half of that is from growth in actual coins. So we're now, for example, at 47,000 Bitcoin, where we were at something like 27,000 when we last spoke. And at the same time, obviously, the value of these coins doubled as well. So it's a combination of both. But we were at, I think, 110,000 users. We're now at 250,000 users. So it's more than doubled on the user side and more than doubled on the coin side.
So 250,000 users, $3.3 billion in deposits or in coins.
And that's, by the way, that the 3.3 billion excludes the $800 million that Celsius has on its own balance sheet. So Cell token, cash, Bitcoin, and so on. So we are basically, Celsius itself has another $800 billion, $800 million, sorry.
Now that 800 million, that's effectively the Celsius treasury, which is made up of Celsius tokens, and it's made up of US dollars and other coins.
Yes.
Is that profits that have been made, or is that money that has been raised in the market? Where did that treasury come from?
So about $25 million of that is the investment we got from Tether, and over 1,000 people who participated through Bank to the Future to buy or invest in Celsius to actually buy our equity. It also includes some of the proceeds we got from the ICO. So there was another 1,500 Celsians who joined us in 2017 and 18 to basically create Celsius from scratch. But the vast majority is Cell token and cash. And we have probably just over 100 million in cash as part of this. And again, personally, I hold over $140 million in the Celsius wallet. So out of that 3.3 billion, I represent about 5% of that. So when you deposit your Bitcoin, it's sitting right next to my Bitcoin, sitting right next to my ETH, to my Cell token, and so on. So I'm treating all the Celsius exactly the same way I'm treating myself.
All right, so I mean, you have you're very well known for being a company or a protocol that takes in deposits and pays out returns and provides people loans as against their tokens. What can we expect from Celsius in the future?
So look, we invented this category when we wrote the paper back in 2017. Again, 2 years before Compound and before everybody else, the idea that you can just deposit a coin or token and earn yield, everybody thought it was crazy. And then most people thought it was not sustainable. And a lot of people said, well, maybe it will work for 100 million, but it's not going to work for $1 billion or $2 billion. So our rates right now are some of the highest rates we've ever paid, right? So we're not just proving everybody wrong on the yield thing. We've proven everybody wrong on the scale thing. And the main reason is not that we're geniuses and we figured it all out. The main reason is that the banks and the financial institution are doing such a bad job for 7 billion people on this planet that it should be really easy picking for us, the crypto community, to bring over all these people. But what we need to do is build bridges towards centralized finance. If we are all going to be like sitting there and saying, oh, DeFi is the pure thing, we don't need anybody from the other side. Yes, we need the people and we need the capital. So what you're going to see us doing, to answer your question, is building more and more bridges to make it easier and easier for the average Joe to participate in all of these amazing innovation, right? That's really what Celsius has done better than anyone else. And again, today, we are the second largest asset manager, only behind Grayscale. There's no other DeFi or CeFi project that manages more money than Celsius. And I can tell you that even like on Compound or Aave or Uniswap, Celsius is one of the largest participants in creating yield and creating markets for all of us who are buying or selling or exchanging.
Alrighty. So just a reminder, guys, this is a calling station. If you want to speak to Alex Michinski live here on air, go to our website, which is www.cryptobanter.com. And there's a link there that you can click. It's the first link that you'll see, and that will bring you straight into the studio, and you can remain anonymous. And I see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 callers on the line who seem to want to speak to you. If you are watching this, also hit the like button and hit the subscribe button now, because when you do that, our content goes out to more people in the crypto community. And that way we can bring more and more and more content. Alex, a big question that's coming up here in the chat, and the first guy that asked in the chat was a guy called Jay Alicia, and he says, who holds the keys to the Celsius wallet?
So first, it's not one wallet, and there is no one person to hold keys. We use MPC, or multi-party computation technology, which effectively breaks the keys into many, many, many parts, and only if all of those parts pull together, then coins are allowed to move, and they only move to whitelisted addresses, right? So Celsius has never had a hack. Almost all of our competitors, almost all the exchanges out there had coins stolen from them. And that just proves that we were one of the first to implement MPC with Fireblocks and with Curve. So using those 2 layers of MPC is still not, there's no one in the world that is using 2 layers of MPC even today. Is really makes it one of the safest places in crypto land.
We do have more callers on the line. I'm going to bring one of them in. Jimmy, I'm coming to you. Jimmy, you're live on CryptoBanter.com with myself, CryptoMan Ran, and Alex Michinski. What do you want to talk about? Jimmy, we see you. We see your light bulb. Jimmy's gone. Let's try and bring in green eggs and ham. Let's get this, Alex. Green eggs and ham. You're live on CryptoBanter.com. You're live with Alex Michinski and CryptoMan Run. And what do you want to talk about? I think we must have a technical issue because none of the callers' voices are coming in. Alex, I want to break away from speaking about Celsius for a second. I want to talk to you about the markets because I think you've made a couple of pretty bold calls in the market. I think one of the calls that you made was that we're going to see 16,000 on Bitcoin before we see 25,000 on Bitcoin. Do you still have that view?
Well, I made that call, I think, when Bitcoin it hit an all-time high. And If you look at my price predictions, you were off the air, Ran. Otherwise, I would have done it with you. But if you look at Kitco News, or if you look at even on Tech, both February, March, April, I've done many predictions saying that we will hit all-time high in Q4. So when we hit all-time high, I went on Kitco News and predicted that we will hit 16,000 before we hit 26,000. The reason for that is that the fear greed meter is all the way on greed, meaning everybody thinks we're going to 30,000. And when that happens, you're going to have natural retrenchment. Also, the Chinese government confiscated $4.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, right? And Ethereum and so on. And you know that they're not fans of any of this stuff. So you know the higher it goes, the faster they're going to sell. And all that is going to put a damp in the market. So these are just natural assumptions. A retrenchment here is a good thing. I do agree that if we hit that 15 to 16,000, that's going to be your last chance of buying Bitcoin below 20,000. So definitely get some dry powder, wait for it to hit those levels, and then go long.
Okay. But your ultimate outlook is a very positive outlook. You're not bearish. You're just saying, look, we've had a very heated market. People are getting greedy. People are calling $30,000. It's not logical or rational for a market to go up in a straight line. It's healthy to take some profits, hold on tight, and then ride the 15,000, 16,000 if you can, buy more, but then hold on tight because then we're going up.
So look, I'm a hodler. What I do personally is that I buy Bitcoin once a month, no matter what the price is. I don't even look at the price. It's the same order every month. And sometimes I get it at the worst day of the week, and sometimes I get it at the best day of the week. So you really have to decide. If you're a true Bitcoin maximalist, or if you really believe in ETH, I am also a big ETH holder, you have to buy some every month. You buy it when it's $84, and you're like saying to yourself, oh my God, it's going down to zero. And you buy it when it's $625 because it doesn't matter, right? You think long-term is going to be valued more. So if you're a trader, completely different set of considerations. And when I'm talking about 16,000 levels and so on, I'm really not talking about myself. I'm talking to the traders out there who want to try to time the market, who think that they know how to put this, risk controls and bid asks and so on and limit orders. I don't do that. I just go, I'm long only, and I'm basically averaging in every month.
All right, what else do you buy? What else do you buy other than Bitcoin and Ethereum? What are the other, what's in Alex's wallet? So obviously Celsius, obviously Bitcoin. Obviously I hope
so look, I have several $1 million worth of USDC, which is paying 10.5% on Celsius. So that's a very easy decision, right? I just took all the money, all my cash from the bank, bought the USDC on Coinbase. Zero fees to buy it and zero fees to send it to Celsius, and you're earning 10.5%. There's no fees to withdraw it. You can get it to Celsius and back into your bank account with zero fees because neither Celsius or Coinbase charges you on USDC. So unlike Ethereum and other things where you're paying $5, $6, $7 per transactions, here it's a safe trade, it's a high yield, and when you need the money, you can have it back in your account the same day. So I love that trade. Again, it pays 100 times more than your bank. So you tell me, why are you sitting? Why are you still letting the bank steal your money from you?
Is that the highest yielding US dollar based backed coin? Is a USDC the highest US dollar backed coin?
Oh, turn off the, what do you call it? Turn off the, you see the thing on the upper right? Just turn that off.
While Alex is sorting out his sound, guys, I want to remind you, if you are watching us on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button now, because when you hit the like button, the subscribe button, it means that we get more people listening to the show. Alex, can you hear us?
Disable it. Yeah, now it's good. Siri jumped in and had her own opinion on what I should and should not be doing with.
What did she say about your position in USDC?
She said that is the way, like the Mando does.
I want to ask you about USDC, but we've got Green Ham and Eggs back on the show. Green Ham and Eggs, you're live on CryptoBanter.com with Alex Michinski and Crypto Man Run. What do you want to talk about?
Hey guys, can you hear me? No.
Of course we can.
Excellent, cool. Yeah, Alex, you seem authentic, which is good. We need a bit of that, and I like the fact you've got the coins in the app as well. But two questions, maybe pick one. When's the app going to be upgraded? Because I think it could be a bit more sexy, like your website. And secondly, what's the chance of a big sell dump? You know the community, and if there is a big dump, how low do you think that might go?
Yeah, so we are upgrading the app every few weeks. We have a big release coming in January, which is going to make it much faster and put some new skins on it. So everything you're asking for. The reason Sell has outperformed both Bitcoin and Ethereum is that when you see the market drop, you also see Sell drop less than Bitcoin, less than Ethereum. So, and the main reason for that is that Celsius is still the largest buyer of Sell token every week, right? Over 50% of our community wants to be paid in Sell, which means we have to go to market and buy millions of dollars worth of Sell token right out of the market. So it's kind of similar to what BNB, what Binance does with the BNB. It's just that Binance only takes 20% of their profits. Celsius takes 80% of our revenues, not of our profit, of our revenues. So we are a much, much bigger participant, and we're doing a lot of that on exchanges that benefit you, meaning on Uniswap, where the spreads are real tight, on Liquid, where you can buy it at very low fees. So it's definitely, we think, acts in your best interest. So I don't see, I can't really talk about pricing on Sell, but I don't see it going down that much.
Great, thanks a lot.
All righty, we've got another caller. His name is Anonymous007. Anonymous007, you're live on CryptoBanter.com with Alex Michinski and Crypto Man Run. Anonymous, can you hear us? Anonymous, can you hear us? I guess
yeah, he's got it. Okay.
He's got his thing open. Alex, is USDC the best yielding dollar-backed stable coin on the market today? You mentioned that you can get like 10.5% on Celsius on USDC. Is that the best US dollar-backed coin to be buying for yield?
No, we have 11 different stable coins. They all pay basically the same amount. So if you have USDT, or if you have TUSD or GUSD, or many others, like we support also Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, British pound, and so on, Hong Kong dollar. So we just don't sell these assets. You've got to go and buy them on TrueUSD or on Coinbase. They all earn basically the same amount of money. We also support DAI and a few other assets. So Celsius does not choose winners and losers. We have 41 assets on the platform. You have to decide what you really like, which project you want to support. We just pay you yield on it. That's our job.
All right. Now, there's the inevitable question of the hack. You know, people saying, look, Celsius holds a lot of money. I know because I've had multiple discussions with your team around your systems, your hot wallets and your cold wallets, etc. Well, not really your hot wallets and your cold wallets, but your MPC and your wallets. What if Celsius gets hacked? Let's go to the worst case scenario. I know you haven't been hacked before, but I guess that's one of the questions on users' minds. People who have Bitcoin are very, very wary to let go of their Bitcoin. They become emotionally attached to these Bitcoin, and they don't want to take any risks that they put these Bitcoins somewhere and it gets hacked. And then for trying to earn a couple of percent, 5-10%, they lose their Bitcoin. What happens in the unlikely event that Celsius gets hacked?
So two parts to this answer. First, and like you said, we've never got hacked, unlike basically every one of our competitors, right? So we have over 100 million in cash. We're soon going to have several $100 million in cash. So we committed that any hack or any problem, we will first go into our treasury and fill that back up before we make any of our customers take a hit. Celsius has more cash on its balance sheet than any DeFi or CeFi project, probably more cash on its balance sheet than all the other guys put together, right? So the safest place today, I think, of earning yield is on Celsius. The second point is that if you go to our cold storage, you know, people say, oh, I have insurance. You don't have insurance in cold storage, because if your coins are sitting in cold storage, they're not earning yield. Earning yield, they have to sit with the borrower, right? Because that's the person who pays the yield. So if you go to our cold storage account, you will see that it's empty. So if a hacker breaks in and tries to steal coins, they're not there. Why? Because they are lent out to the largest financial institution in the world who play in crypto, right? So we have over 350 institutions. Every big name you read in the news every day is working with Celsius already, and they are the borrowers, right? So there's nothing to steal, right? And the reason we put $30 million insurance on the hot wallet is because the only place you can actually touch Celsius coins or tokens, and I'm talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, as it moves through the network, is when we are either lending it out or when we're getting it back. And even though those are whitelisted addresses and we have MPC and everything else, we wanted to make sure that we have insurance on that. We're one of the very few companies in the world that has hot wallet insurance. So when you make your decision to deposit, these are the things you have to look into. Just because somebody tells you I have $200 million insurance, think to yourself, is that insurance covers me? Why are the coins, how are the coins earning if they're sitting in cold storage, right? So those are the points people need to pay attention to.
They're definitely not earning anything if they're sitting in cold storage.
Exactly.
We have a lot of callers.
And they're at risk of being stolen. It's double whammy. It's the worst scenario you can have, is that they're sitting in cold storage and they're not earning yield.
All right, Alex, you said you've got in Alex Michinski, because I want to know in Alex Michinski's portfolio. Alex Michinski hasn't called it wrong very many times. So I know he's holding Bitcoin. I know he's holding Celsius. I know he's holding Ethereum. I know that all his US dollar holdings are actually in USDC because he's earning 10%. And I guess he's probably earning more because he's earning it in Celsius tokens, if I know Alex Michinski.
I can't earn it. I'm American, so I'm earning it. I'm earning 10.5%. The people who are outside the US earning 13.75% because they're earning it in Cell token, like you said. But there is nothing in Celsius where I'm getting something different than any depositor. If you put $10 next to me, you would be earning exactly the same thing I'm earning. So there's no special privileges. Like if a whale comes to Celsius and gives us $100 million, he's not going to earn more than you. He's going to earn exactly the same rate as you.
Yeah, I guess transparency is the name of the game. So what other coins are in Alex Michinski's wallet?
So I'm actually short XRP right now, not because I hate XRP. I think it's a good project, but just I think it went up too much too fast. And most of the Spark guys who are trying to get Spark are probably going to dump some of that afterwards. So that's again, that's a small trade, but I think it's probably a
fun trade. It's a fun trade.
It's a fun trade. I don't know about fun. Look, I'm not, if somebody was shorting Celsius, I wouldn't be happy about it. So, but I just think that the price can come down. It ran up a lot. So it's just a place to make some money, right? But other projects that I like, Chainlink is a beautiful project. So I have some Link as well. What else do I have? I'm not really an alt guy, besides obviously Cell token. So I'm really sticking to like top 10 coins. So I have some USDT, Tether.
Here's an interesting question for you. If I were to ask you, you can only hold one coin, Bitcoin or Ethereum. Bitcoin or Ethereum. Which one would you hold on a 1-year time horizon? Which one would you hold on a 3-year time horizon? And which one would you hold on a 10-year time horizon? And the objective is only returns. So I'm not looking at risk-adjusted returns. I'm looking at returns. Who makes a better return in the next 12 months, 3 years, and 10 years?
Well, return comes with risk. So ETH, I think, will have higher returns than Bitcoin, but it's much, much more risk involved, right? So if you're asking me about risk-adjusted returns, I would go with Bitcoin. But if you said just overall returns, ETH has a chance to deliver more returns than Bitcoin.
Who's bigger at terminal point, Bitcoin or Ethereum? Is there a flippening at any point?
I don't see a flippening. I think most institutions it's going to take years and years and years before they're comfortable with Ethereum. I think you're going to see a lot of institutions come into Bitcoin. So it's definitely going to continue to increase in value. Ethereum may catch up with the valuation, so the ratio will change, but it's going to be a long time before Ethereum actually eclipses Bitcoin in market cap.
All right, who's bigger at terminal point, Celsius or Ethereum? No, just kidding. All right, we got two callers on. I'm not sure that our call-in line is working, so let's try and bring them in and see if we can get anything in. Anonymous, you're on the line with Alex Michinski and Crypto Man Run. Can you hear us, Anonymous? Going once, going twice. All right, Anonymous is out. We've got Anonymous 007. You're live on CryptoBanter.com with Alex Michinski and Crypto Man Run.
I can hear.
Amazing. We got you. All right, so you're live. What do you want to talk about?
The question is, this company is based in which country, and who audits his company?
So we're based in the UK. We govern by the laws of the UK. Today, UK regulators are probably have the most clarity about anything that's to do with crypto, actually ahead of the United States. But everything we do is under UK law. What's the second question?
I'm not saying anything against you, actually, but the people are trying to steal our hard-earned money, actually. But how do we know you are reliable, actually?
Right. No, it's a great question. Look, so
it's a great question because I think that a lot of people want to invest in crypto-related projects, but they're scared to lose their hard-earned money. And so I think that's a very, very, very good question. In fact, when I look at the YouTube comments, that's one of the questions that keeps coming up. So maybe let's answer that.
Sure. So if you look at our white paper back in 2017, you'll see that from day one, we committed to not be neutral, right? If you look at Compound, it's neutral. If you look at Coinbase, it's neutral, right? All of the exchanges and DeFi guys are neutral. Celsius is actually not neutral. Celsius only represents a depositor. So show me another project in crypto on Wall Street that is committed to transparency and to always represent your best interest. A project that doesn't charge any fees, a project in which the founder or the CEO has basically a lot of his money sitting right next to you, right? So you're not going to find any of that. And so since day one, we built this to solve exactly this problem, because the problem in crypto is that a lot of people, too many projects are in it for the short term. Too many projects are here just to grab as much money as they can and run. And if you look at what Celsius does from day one, we didn't list on an exchange for over a year, even though we had a working product, right? We didn't charge any fees. We still don't charge any fees, right? So if you look at not what they say, but what they do, you will see that we are actually the real thing.
Thank you. The last question is, why this is not listed in good exchanges?
And that's a great question. So what you call good exchanges are people that rip off the community. CZ just announced that he's made $1 billion this year. That's $1 billion coming out of your pocket. So for me to list on Binance, they want me to pay them $1 million. That I rather give that $1 million to all of my customers as interest distribution. I'd rather raise the rate on USDC to 11 or 12% than give it to CZ, who already made $1 billion, right?
I must say,
that's why we listed on Uniswap, which is for the people and by the people.
I must say, I think Uniswap has really changed the game, because I think a lot of exchanges were making money on listing fees, maybe even making as much money from listing fees at one point as they were making from trading fees. And Uniswap has really turned that whole thing upside down by saying, hey, anybody can list a token, anybody can buy a token, anybody can sell a token.
Anybody who has a community. Because if you don't have a community, you can list it, but nobody's going to show up. Celsius, last week, Celsius was #4 volume project on what do you call it? It was number 5 project in fees on Uniswap. Wow. Just to put it in perspective. So on Liquid, we are either the first or second largest volume project. So we're not just some little project that no one pays attention to, right? We're going to continue growing Uniswap until basically Binance and Hobby and all these other guys say, okay, it's too big, we got to list it for free, right? That's what we're trying to do.
So US citizens can buy your coin?
Yes. Anyone can go on Uniswap and buy, sell token. Yes.
I mean, just to put it into perspective, today Celsius is on an $830 million market cap, and it's ranked as the 32nd, number 32 in the size of tokens. So this is a legitimate project. This is not a small project. I mean, just to give an idea of the trading volume, over 10 or just under $10 million of Celsius has traded. And I'll tell you one thing, if you've ever tried to buy Celsius token, you'll know that buying Celsius token is one of the hardest things to do, because there's simply no sellers of Celsius token. No one wants to sell their tokens.
Yep. And you're competing with the largest buyer, which is Celsius Network. So we are competing with you to buy, sell token every week.
Alrighty, we do have one more caller. I'm going to try and get him in here. His name is Joe. Joe, I see you in the lines. You have to connect your mic. Otherwise, let's try and get maybe Rob. Rob, are you're live with Celsius? You're live with
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? Love the show. What's up, Alex? Love Celsius. Quick question. One thing that I'm wondering if you could make possible is I recently heard on Crypto Banter that the mirror airdrop to Uni.
The mirror airdrop.
I'm still yeah, the MIR drop for Uni holders. Will that be available on Celsius? Any chance of it?
Sure. No, it's a good point. We evaluate each project. There are forks that we don't support. We have not made that decision yet. So, for example, we do support the Spark token, but each one of these forks we have to decide. There's a lot involved, and sometimes it's a security issue. Sometimes it's, again, the tokens are lent out. For us to support the fork means we have to pull back a lot of the coins or tokens. So we have to make a decision on the Uni side, and we'll publish that on our Twitter and Telegram channels.
If I have Uniswap, where can I get what kind of returns can I get on Uniswap tokens on Celsius today?
So I think it pays 6.5% in kind, and maybe 9%, close to 9% on in-cell token. Again, you can go in our app or on our website and look at the rates. They do change week to week. Basically, what Celsius does, it solves the issue of you having to spend hours and hours every day doing it yourself. So if you're a DeFi pro, and you're moving coins like crazy, even then, there's a very high chance that after fees, Celsius delivers a higher yield than what you can do yourself, because Celsius basically gets yield not just from DeFi. We also lend to exchanges, and we lend to institutions. So our blended rate many times is consistently higher than anything that you will find on any DeFi platform, right? And the fees eat into it, because I deploy 10, 20, $30 million a pop on any of these platforms. So I pay 7% on $10 million, where you probably pay $7 in gas on $3,000 worth of deployment, or $5,000 worth of deployment. So saving 90% of those fees is something that the Celsians enjoy every day. And we also don't charge you withdrawal fees. When you withdraw from Celsius, it's free. So put all that together, and you'll find that actually having a day job or doing something you really like and letting us earn that yield for you is probably better than you can do it yourself.
I must say, the comments here are going crazy. I've got Brad Anderson says, Google Scott Stornetta. He's quoted in the Satoshi white paper 4 times. Celsius is the only crypto project he is involved in.
He might be Satoshi, because he never said he wasn't, and he invented the Merkle tree. So what are the chances that the guy that invented the Merkle tree, which is basically Bitcoin is based on that innovation, is also Satoshi? So Scott, if you're watching this, it's time for you to tell us, are you Satoshi?
I always thought that the Merkle tree was invented by Ralph Merkle, wasn't it?
No, it was a paper done in Belcore in 1991. So actually, Scott and Hubbard were working. Mr. Stornetta and Mr. Hubbard were working in Belcore in 1991, and I was 7 miles away or 9 miles away working on Voice over IP. So we know each other for a while, and again, Bitcoin, the blockchain as we know it today, is based on that invention from 1991.
All right, Alex, the lines are going crazy. The comments are going crazy. We can't take everyone, unfortunately, but again, it just gives us a reason to get you back here. I must ask you a personal question. Where did you have more fun? Because you look like you're having the time of your life. Every time I speak to you, you look like you're having the time of your life. Is this more fun, or was Voice over IP, which you also created, was that more fun?
So you're right. I mean, this is my third unicorn. Unicorn is a company worth over $1 billion. We are worth over $1 billion on CoinPaprika and a few other, sites. But it happened very, very fast here with the Celsius Network, right? The adoption from the community. I get tens of emails every day of people saying to us that we changed their lives and we're helping them achieve their financial dreams. So Voice of IP was basically taking the power from the phone companies and giving it to billions of people around the world. I mean, you can't beat that. But Celsius Network is amazing, right? I mean, if we can take the power away from the banks just by always getting together and acting in our own best interest, right? That is phenomenal. I mean, I always joke that VoIP was my prep. That was like my junior leagues, and now MOIP, or money over IP, is the real deal, right? This is picking a fight with the banks is definitely, I don't know anyone who's done that in 700 years of banking, right? So let's see. We can only win if we all get together. I can't win it all by myself.
I must say, dealing with banks anywhere in the world is tough, but dealing with United States banks and the red tape that they have to go through is absolutely ridiculous. I can't wait to unbank myself. I had an experience this week. Alex, I have to tell you about this experience. I opened an account at Wells Fargo in the United States when I was in the US. And I put money in the account, and I didn't use the account. I didn't make any transfers for 6 months. And so what they did was they marked my account as dormant, and they sent me a letter in an envelope. And they marked my account as dormant, and I don't open letters. It's not part of what I do. And so what happened then was I tried to move money out my account, and they said, sorry, your account is dormant. I said, well, okay, can you undormant my account? No, unfortunately, we can't. You have to write us a letter. Now, I'm in Africa at the moment. I'm here on vacation. And if I post a letter, there's no way it's getting there. Why can I not, in 2020, why can I not send you an email? Why can't you verify me on the phone and then just undormant my account so that I can draw my money out of the bank account? And so now what I have to do is I have to write them a letter, and I have to post them a letter in the post because the banking system is broken. I can't wait to unbank myself from the traditional banking system.
Look, it's the same friendly people who brought you inactivity fees, ATM fees. Wells Fargo got caught opening 3 million fake bank accounts that they charged their customers $20 a month. 3 million fake bank accounts. No one went to jail. Not a single person went to jail, right?
It's
insane. It's insane.
Get this, Chase Bank in Manhattan, Chase Bank USA, charged me $40 to wire money from my business account to my bank account. They charged me $40 to wire $100, $200, $300 from my account to my account.
And look, enough is enough, right? I mean, and the only way we can fix that, we're not going to fix it by going to Washington. We're not going to fix that by making a lot of noise. The only way we fix that is stop giving the money to the banks. I mean, they're not going to change their behavior. They're so used to stealing from us and charging us all kind of fees that, all banks do is they're exceptional machines that deliver profits from you. They take the profits from you and deliver them to their shareholders. That's all they do. They could care less about the depositors, right?
Yeah,
and we created something that is the opposite, right? Only acting in the best interest of the depositor. But we have to convince everyone that it's safe and that it's reliable and that you can withdraw at any time and everything you're talking about.
Now, you see this guy on our screen, right? That's, of course, Jamie Dimon. And I can't wait for the day where I go to him and I put my stuff together. Because you must have seen the headlines. He says he thinks Bitcoin is a fraud and he thinks that Bitcoin is a bubble and he doesn't like Bitcoin. And he says, because the network can be hacked and because you can have another Bitcoin. A guy who is the head of one of the biggest banks in the world surely should have more knowledge. But then his own bank says gold will suffer for years because of Bitcoin. I mean, does the one hand not know what the other hand is doing? How do you understand that? And again, you see banks like Citibank downgrading MicroStrategy because they bought Bitcoin. And then the same Citibank analyst says Bitcoin could pass $300,000 by December 2021. But we should.
Well, if you look at the date of this article, you will see it's the day Bitcoin peaked. So the day Bitcoin basically went to new highs. So what's amazing about these guys would not recommend it at 3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000. No, they chose the day that Bitcoin peaked to tell you, hey, go buy some Bitcoin. So the last person you should be listening to are the banks who, they only exist for one reason, and that is to charge you fees. Right, so Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan earned over $30 billion in profit, not in revenues, in profit. and took all that money and delivered it to his shareholders, right? To Warren Buffett and all the other big shareholders that he has, right? So you have to decide for yourself, do you want, and again, look, Binance CZ is delivering the same thing. He delivers $1 billion this year to his shareholders, right? He's not giving it back to the community. So we cannot take the worst practices from Wall Street, bring them into crypto, and expect different results. That's why companies like Celsius, like Uniswap, are acting in your best interest. So you have to choose. Every time you trade, every time you move coins, you choose who's going to be the winners and who's going to be the losers. Are there going to be people who act in your best interest, or are there going to be people who are just stealing from you? So that's, hodl.
Hodl. I say move your coins wisely, vote with your money, vote with your coins. Alex, it's been amazing having you on Crypto Trader, on Crypto Banter. I can't keep taking all these calls. There's tons of calls. There are tons of comments. I'll have to get you back here. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 calls waiting to speak to Alex today in the waiting room. I can't do it. I've got the next segment, which I have to go to. Alex, it's been amazing having you. Well done on all you've achieved. I'm a serious Celsius holder. I'm a hodler. I'm not selling my tokens. I'm not going anywhere. Alex, thank you so much.
You've been a big supporter of the project. Love your new show. Keep doing what you're doing. And you're a big addition to the crypto community. So definitely love to have you on in the clan,
Thank you, Alex. We'll chat very soon. Alrighty, guys, the next segment to wrap up the show. In fact, we've got one more segment after this. We're going to be talking about non-fungible tokens. Now, for those of you who don't know what non-fungible tokens, I'm going to give you guys a little bit.
The battle between the forces of good and evil are escalating. Will the evil centralizers of the world financial systems, authoritarian governments, and world of scams, frauds, and deceit win? Or will decentralization, liberty, and freedom triumph? You are invited to enter the fray with the best-selling digital collectible trading card series, Blockchain Heroes. Blockchain Heroes is a lovingly crafted NFT digital collectible series on the Wax blockchain. It's full of professionally rendered characters who represent people and concepts in the world of blockchain and cryptocurrency. From mining and chain forks to shills and trolls, Blockchain Heroes conceptualizes complex subjects in a way that's easy and fun. You'll discover a wealth of unique and exciting characters in a rich and dynamic fictional megaverse to explore, along with regular community events featuring exclusive rewards and serial surprises. What are you waiting for? The world needs more heroes. The evil and corrupt centralizer forces have mounted a devastating attack on the Blockchain Heroes headquarters. In this hour of crisis, sinister and greedy villains rise to silence the heroes. But all is not lost, for a new generation of brave and mighty souls stand up to battle back the forces of power-mongering and authoritarian control. Blockchain Heroes First Strike offers 40 original characters across 9 unique rarities, plus ultra-rare 3D renders, fully animated characters, and even bigger surprises. Buy, sell, trade, collect, and participate in gamified activities to level up your cards and discover exciting new variations. Eager to involve friends, family, and associates in collecting with you? We've created a simple system for you to gift packs and NFTs to others without having to explain what blockchain is. If you're ready to pioneer the future of digital collectibles, join the thousands of others who own Blockchain Heroes cards by visiting bcheroes.com. You'll find everything you need to get started, and then come join our vibrant community on Telegram at t.me/bcheroes. The future of liberty and freedom depends on it.
Wow. What a time to be alive. We're trading cards. We're trading blockchain tokens, non-fungible blockchain tokens or NFTs. And with me in the studio, I've got a whole lot of guests all around the amazing space of NFTs. I've got Travis, I've got Joel, and I've got JD. Guys, that was quite exciting. Tell us a little bit about Blockchain Heroes.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Ran, and hey, JD. Blockchain Heroes is a set of digital collectible trading cards built on the Wax blockchain. All 50 heroes from our Series 1 set were inspired by real-world blockchain and crypto personalities. And we did the sale in August, had 12,500 packs with 125,000 cards sold out in about 15 minutes. And on Tuesday, we're getting ready to release Series 2, which is, as you saw from that video, just up-leveled in absolutely every way.
Is there a Crypto Man run Blockchain Heroes?
Maybe one day.
Soon.
Oh, man.
Depends how many times he gets invited to the show.
I reckon that if you did that, people would short that blockchain NFT. Yeah, so I mean, look, this is an exciting topic to talk about. In fact, every time I think we've spoken about it enough, people come back and say, we want to talk about NFTs, we want to talk about NFTs, we want to talk about NFTs. I know that you guys did Blockchain Heroes and you're doing Blockchain Heroes again. What is that what it's about for you guys? Or where are you taking this Blockchain Heroes play?
You know, I think that this right here, this series is more true to the title of Blockchain Heroes. The first one was sort of like Blockchain Legends, like really cool people who've done awesome stuff to move the space forward. This one right here has 20 new heroes, and they're based on principles of blockchain like portfolios, your private keys, NFTs, smart contracts, mining, airdropping, wrapping of tokens, DeFi, wallets, staking, speculation, the art collecting, encryption, chain forks, you know, interoperability, those types of principles. There's a character for each one of those. Those are the heroes. But then there's also the villains, Rand. And the villains are like based on principles like the Federal Reserve, the banking system, credit cards, loan sharks, the New York Stock Exchange, insider trading, day traders, penny stocks, the online trolls, the media, Congress, the intelligence agencies, you know, 51% attacks, shills, and Ponzi schemes. Those are the villains in the central. And so we got these blockchain heroes to teach everyone about decentralization, which we think is so important.
And you said that in the first sale, you sold 125,000 cards. Like, what does one of these NFTs sell for? What does one of these blockchain hero cards sell for?
Well, they're all different. You know, when we were younger, we all collected Star Wars cards or baseball cards. Some of us still do as adults. And you'd buy a pack of cards, and out of that pack would spring all of these different, you know, players or scenes or whatever. And some of them are super rare. Well, it's the same with the Blockchain Heroes series. Is you'll have common cards, and then they go from common to uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, mythic, and secret, which are the one-of-one cards. So that you'll notice the lighting effects and the animations get more advanced the more rare the cards are. But I think the top card that we've seen sold for about $1,200.
$1,200.
Yeah, that was the record.
No, actually, it was for $1,500.
Oh, well, there you go. The price just went up.
Over 1,000. There's been at least 6 or 7 cards that have sold for over 1,000 each.
Look, I want to just show you something. My producer communicates with me via WhatsApp during the show, and she sent me this GIF about her trying to understand what an NFT actually is. So, JD, while I've got you, I think this is a good place to start. Let's go 100 steps back for our producers out there. Narissa, listen carefully, because JD is going to explain to you what an NFT is and what the difference is between an NFT and a fungible token.
You put me on the spot at midnight after 19 hours straight. So yeah, I mean, the basis of NFTs, I think, which are genius, and I don't want to get into like the child NFTs and then all the new protocols that are merging them together, but it's the records and the uniqueness that are trackable, traceable, and distributed across the blockchain. With these non-fungible tokens. And that's why even, you know, all of us right now are in this kind of the art, the gaming, the whole thing world, but people are starting to utilize them for loans now and all these really unique things that are like kind of mind-boggling to me when I start reading about them. It's the uniqueness within that code that gives that the value, right, in the asset, which is really how powerful these things are. You know,
yeah, I want to go even back one more step to say, for those viewers who don't even know what a non-fungible token is, you've got Ethereum or Bitcoin, which is a fungible token, which means that one Bitcoin is the same as one Bitcoin is the same as one Bitcoin. And Ethereum, whether you buy my Ethereum, whether you buy Travis's Ethereum or Joel's Ethereum or JD's Ethereum, it doesn't matter. One ETH is one ETH. However, specifically on the Ethereum blockchain and on other blockchains too, but on the Ethereum blockchain, they launched a token called the ERC-721, which means that even though it's a token on the blockchain, one ERC-721 or one of these tokens is not the same as another token. So if we take you back to football collectible cards or soccer collectible cards, whereas both of them are cards, there is only one Lionel Messi card and only one Ronaldo card. And if one person has the Ronaldo card and if one person has the Messi card, those are two tokens. And even though they're two tokens in the same network, the two tokens are differentiated. And that's why it's called a non-fungible token, where one token is not the same as the other. And what people are doing is that they're creating these tokens and they're creating characters and limited edition art and limited edition items by creating these non-fungible tokens. Limited edition non-fungible tokens. Trev.
I have a metaphor that I've used that a lot of people, it helps them get it. So think of it like a concert ticket or a sports ticket. You know, they're a ticket, right? It's the same. They're a ticket. Well, no, my front row ticket's a lot different than your back row ticket, right? Those are non-fungible. They're the same, but they're not the same, right? If I buy a house and you have a house, those houses aren't the same. Now, if I give you a $1 bill and you give me a $1 bill, those are the same. It doesn't matter, right? So a non-fungible token is essentially that. They are collectibles. They can be coupons. They can be tickets. They can be all kinds of things. In fact, William Quigley of Wax, who is the founder of Wax, has said this, that in the future, everything that's not food will have an NFT connected to it in some way to a blockchain.
Which is a digital certificate. Now, I don't know why you're speaking of Wax token. So I'm a holder of Wax token. In fact, I was a big supporter of the project at launch. And I don't know if you guys heard, but recently Malcolm Cassell, who was a long time, I think he was the CEO of Wax token, and I think he passed away in Mexico. He was a good friend of mine.
Yeah, very early. Sad.
Very, very sad. And I know that set back the Wax team a little bit, obviously, and Williams, I'm sure, is taking it hard. But he would want everybody to move on. It was just, what's amazing to me is he was young, he was healthy. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to eat more bacon because it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he was under 50 or he just turned 50. He was in reasonable health. And from what I understand from the bits and pieces that I've got, that he was in Mexico, he got some kind of food poisoning or some kind of stomach bug, and 24 hours later, he was pronounced dead.
Wow.
Crazy times.
Definitely was.
So we know what you guys are doing. We know about blockchain heroes. JD, tell us a little bit about what Anarchy is doing in the non-fungible token space.
Yeah, we worked for a while early this year, doing a lot of R&D on trying to solve some pain points in the industry. Like, we loved liquidity mining and farming, but it has no use case, no sustainability. And then even in the NFT world, we believe there's no true economic supply and demand because there's a lack of base value on all these new NFTs until mass adoption hits and you actually have established brands with a longevity. It's difficult. So through that, we came up with these to gamify liquidity mining and created a bunch of derived base value economic models. And it's all through what we call a GDEX, which is a decentralized finance gaming platform exchange. So it all happens within our platform. And we have our first game coming out called Battle Wave 2323. The human test that launch is going to be in about a little bit of a week. We had some of the top 5 influencers invest in us, so they're getting the exclusive. But we utilize liquidity mining through traditional gamification. It's all built on Unity, the front end. We have in-game marketplace with power APY boosted weapons, power boosted APY NFTs. There's we merge esports, and everyone's always like, well, how the hell do you do that? Well, it's quite easy. It's just virtual, right? So that was one of our research things we did this year through, especially when we DeFi, we saw, it's funny enough and sadly enough, with all the anon scammers, that all these users in DeFi were actually competing and helping one another, right? And powering up together to beat the anon scammers and all this stuff. So we built in the esports component of not just the gaming, but we have virtual teams. So when you're playing on our UI, our virtual characters animated, winning, coins flying, you have your teams right here on your dashboard on the interface, and you can infiltrate other teams and talk smack, send memes, all this stuff. But the NFTs are the pinnacle of our platform based on our derived base values.
I love that you're integrating that. What's the website, JD? I want to be able to take a look.
Anarchy X. So it's ANRKEYX.io.
Nice. We'll check that out. You know, this is one of the points you made there. I think is so essential, that mainstream adoption is so necessary in bringing big brands. And this is actually one of the reasons that we chose the Wax blockchain to build. It's so fast. It's instant. I could send you Wax or an NFT on Wax. You'll have it in a second. But, you know, we've already seen Topps launch multiple products on the Wax blockchain. They're garbage pail kids. And I know from speaking to the team that they have other properties planned. Atari launched a product. Deadmau5, the DJ artist, is launching a product. Yeah. Next week, the Capcom is launching a product on Wax. There's more that I can't share yet because we're actually on the Wax Advisory Council, so we know what's coming. William Shatner did a product, so Wax is really positioning itself as the king of NFTs, and it's really the hidden hero that the mainstream doesn't know about because they're so locked into Ethereum. And I guess people love paying those gas fees, but you don't have that with Wax.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, Wax is doing a DeFi play where you're going to be able to convert some of your Wax tokens over to a Wax E, stake them, earn some Wax G, and they're doing a DeFi play on that. So I think once they launch that, there'll be more folks from the Ethereum ecosystem understanding the power of Wax, because I mean it really is true. And one of the things that I think is really cool about what we've done on this particular thing is we've actually worked with a team to create this thing called a gift, an NFT, right? So one thing we realize is that, you know, there's a lot of adoption. We want to have more adoption take place. What better way to create that than to allow folks to easily gift an NFT to somebody who doesn't even have a wallet? So basically gift it, you're going to gift an NFT, you type in their email address, you connect your wallet, you pick which asset you want to send them, and then boom, you can go ahead and send them. And that's the whole point of our sale here of Blockchain Heroes 2 is to send a pack to your friend, let them understand it, let them open it up and experience it and really get the fun of it, and then start going, well, what the hell's blockchain? And then dive down that rabbit hole.
Guys, there's a lot that I mean, there's so much that we can talk about. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. I do want to ask you guys a question though. What happens when do we see real world applications and NFTs becoming one? So in other words, when my wife buys a bag from Gucci that she gets a non-fungible certificate with it, which is a blockchain listed asset, and then you can start tracking inventory of jewelry, fancy bags, etc. My wife wouldn't buy a Gucci bag, just for the record, unless she wouldn't tell me. But when does this happen?
I'll tell you when it happens. It happens when we don't have to talk about what blockchain is anymore, and it's integrated in an application that does that, right? That's, you know, we don't think about how the little chip on our credit card works when we go to the store. We just know we can pay for our food and by slipping it in the little reader. We're not even thinking about it. So that when the time comes that we don't have to explain blockchain to people, it's because the technology will be developed by a leader that's using that, and it's ready for prime time now. There's no reason a major brand can't use that type of technology now to deliver their coupons, their collectibles, whatever. I think that what's probably more likely to happen is we're going to see collectibles brought mainstream. That's going to be a lot of people's first introduction to collectibles. So when to NFTs. So when Major League Baseball, finally decides to work with Topps to release digital trading cards on blockchain, that's going to be important. When musicians bigger than Deadmau5, and Deadmau5 is pretty big, but when a big musician, a big pop star launches digital collectibles that aren't just static trading cards, but have video clips on them and music clips and messages from the artist, the fans are going to be turned on to it by the millions. And I think that's really not too far off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, guys.
We're out of time. Cool.
We're all out of time. But I do want to ask you, JD, I do want to ask you about the Anarchy project. I read that you guys had a first raise. Is there an Anarchy token? Is there, if you want to get into the ecosystem, is there a token you can buy? Is there a way to invest in Anarchy?
Yeah, right now we're actually currently about a few hours away from closing our public sale. We partnered with DAO Maker, who had a bunch of oversubscribed projects. Right now, we're already over 6 times oversubscribed on the public sale. We closed out our private sales in less than 40 hours back in October, and then we're going to be hitting exchanges in the next by the 17th and 19th. Don't quote me, but you know how exchanges are. So yeah, we've been moving really fast. It's only been 2 months right now. We're probably one of the fastest, I would say, protocols to go to a test net within 2 months upon launching, because we were all product focused. We didn't actually want to list this year, but we were kind of forced to because of long story with whatever. But yeah, we have a lot of exciting stuff. Partnerships with the Matic Network, Plasma Pay. We did DAO Maker. We have our collectibles line just launched right now, so that's about to hit the market. A bunch of influencers that work with us invested are starting to do giveaways. Our collectibles line is still tied into our derived base values and economics. So the more you trade our token, the price is entangled. The more users we have, the more TLV on our platform, the more APY, and the relationship of the sub characters of the stories within our collectibles that tie into the hero characters are all entangled. The more you play and hold these, it grows the price value of our collectibles line. So it's all intertwined.
So you're saying that for our viewers who do want to get involved in the sale, you're saying it's oversubscribed. There's no real way in, but the token will be listed in some of the exchanges.
Yeah, no, the way DAO Maker does it, they just innovate. They're the innovators of the DICO model. So this is called their show strongholder offering. We're the first ones to do it, and it's almost like a contest. So you can still participate, but only a few people that'll be whitelisted will be allowed to join. So, but the time, we're talking about hours right now coming down to the end. It's been for about 4 days now.
All right, we've had one caller waiting on the line. His name is Jonathan Vincent. I see you on the line. You're live on air. We're talking about non-fungible tokens. I guess you want to talk to the panel about non-fungible tokens. What do you want to talk about?
Well, to be honest, I just entered the show.
I think we have lost him. All right, guys, we're all out of time. Joel, and I see Travis is back. Travis, Joel, I think we need to have a much more regular non-fungible token event platform. That's something that I will work with all of you guys. JD, good luck on your launch. Good luck on the token launch. I guess we're going to have to get you back. I'm sorry we did run out of time today.
Thank you guys.
I want to bring in, before we go into the weekend, because on these kind of days, I think we need to bring in Adrian Bashuk. He was my producer at CNBC, and he goes and looks at the social airwaves, and he tells us what the sentiment's is like out there. Adrian, welcome back. Sorry we kept you till the end, but I guess save the best for last. Talk to me about what's going on in the world of sentiment on the social airwaves today.
Let's check out what people are saying across Twitter, etc. One thing I just want people to be aware of on the U.S. side is this ongoing, regulatory talk. But we have, congressmen like Warren Davidson, we've had on the show and spoken to a couple times, sending letters and lobbying Secretary Mnuchin otherwise. Eric Voorhees saying a small nation could buy 10 billion in Bitcoin, wait 5 years, and no longer be a small nation. So this is an undercurrent that's happening. But we talk about big moves, big institutional moves. Bitwise just created their big crypto index fund. Crypto Bobby tweeting about that. Literally Fidelity digital assets. We talked about Grayscale, and we talked about Mass Mutual and MicroStrategy, but Fidelity digital assets also making a big play on that. The Winklevoss twins saying, we can't underplay this Grayscale move, buying 131,000 ETH. So keep an eye on Ethereum. We had Coach K earlier saying, we could see the 520s hit, but then well over 600 Ethereum long-term play. But let's talk about alts, right? JJ Cycle's tweeting, we deserve it, alts, and anyone who's held from the 2017 cycle. XRP airdrop pump starts right now, so careful of your XRP holdings. There could be a big run up until tomorrow's airdrop and then fall off a cliff. So, If you're trading it, play it carefully. DeFi Jesus saying, I cannot believe anyone in crypto could look at Noya and day trade. It's literally like buying Link at 6 cents. And what do you know? Noya is at 16 cents. We talked about it earlier in the week. Keep an eye on Noya, guys. A sure 100x, DeFi Jesus says. Chainlink God saying the World Economic Forum officially released a white paper in collaboration with Chainlink. Oracles enable interoperability. So keep an eye on Chainlink. Of course, for a long-term hold, we could see minor dips. Other people tweeting about Bondly, Crypto Ravers saying, keep your eyes out for Bondly when it comes out. Launched 2 days ago. A lot of talk about Bondly, a lot of fans of Bondly. Checked out the show yesterday and today. SYN, S-Y-N, it's a staking yield, approximately 2% in 6 days, around 130% APR. I don't know if that's sustainable. People are tweeting about it. Mocho, Crypto Mocho tweeting that he's looking at Beta Comp and XLM to long. Altcoin Sherpa, who we had on yesterday, tweeting about UNFI. Big run, could come down. Take a look at that. And Lark Davis, Crypto Lark, all these dips are starting to look juicy. Keep a close eye and might deploy some cash soon on Aave, AXS, KSM, and Ocean. We talked about KSM and Ocean and Aave today. AXS we went into yesterday, had a big run this week. Let's see where it can go from here. That's the roundup, Ran. It's exciting stuff, and we've got plenty of YouTube commenters checking out and seeing what is on their radar.
Yeah, it is. And even though the Bitcoin price has gone down, it looks like the sentiment on alts is still good, which is, for me, pretty interesting, because usually when the Bitcoin price goes down, people run away from alts, and it's usually the end of the world. But in this case, it kind of looks like people are still trading alts, and they're still buying, and they're still bullish. So I guess it just affirms that we are in a bull market.
That's a wrap on the week, Ran. Let's give it up for Ran for bringing this all together and putting together Crypto Banter. You're going the decentralized model and away from the networks and bringing it all under one hood. I know you're building big things for 2021 and have this as a 24-hour trading streaming channel. It's going to be great for the ecosystem and great to bring the community all together in real time.
Yeah, I hope you're right. And just for our listeners and for our viewers, we're going to be taking a little bit of a production break for the next couple of weeks, which means we'll be on intermittently. We'll be on as and when there's news. So it's not going to be a daily show, but we'll be back in full force in January. So if you have been watching, I wish you guys an amazing festive season. I wish you guys a happy holidays. I wish you guys that you trade well and that you make lots of profits out there. And that we see you guys in the new year with bags full of Bitcoin and all the other ones. And if you have enjoyed the show, let us know, guys. I guess the best way to let us know is to give us some love. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so that you'll know when we are back in the new year. That is it. Happy New Year, happy holidays. I'll see you again intermittently in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll be back in full force in 2021.
That's the end of our live show. Thank you for calling in and tuning in. Head over to CryptoBanter.com now to access all past recordings and engage with other listeners. That's CryptoBanter.com.